The war is over. Israel is claiming historic victory. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the Iranian nuclear program sent, quote, down the drains. Meanwhile, Iranian President Pezeshkian says Iranian armed forces dealt severe historic punishment to Israel. But for now, while the Israelis are relieved that the missiles have stopped, the Iranians are celebrating victory. Watch our special report which captures the mood on both sides in Israel and in Iran.
Sirens screamed, bombs thundered. And the skies over West Asia turned into fire as Israel and Iran waged 12 days of all-out war. Israeli jets roared over Tehran, unleashing wave after wave of precision-guided munitions on Iran's nuclear and military sites. But Iran was no easy foe. It answered with fury, launching salvos that punched through Israel's famed missile defense shield, pounding Tel Aviv, Haifa and Beersheba. The devastation was brutal. Residential towers shattered, emergency crews digging for survivors, and both nations' populations living in dread. This was no one-sided fight. Israel faced not Hamas or Hezbollah, but a hardened, resolute Iran, an adversary that would not be cowed. It was a high-intensity, high-decibel war. The stakes were existential for both sides. Yet as the guns fell silent, the mood on the streets of Tehran was electric. Thousands surged into Revolution Square, waving flags and chanting victory slogans. For many Iranians, it was a moment of pride and relief, a break from the terror of daily bombardment and the hope that the worst was over. The scars are still raw, with families mourning the dead and communities facing the daunting task of rebuilding shattered homes and infrastructure.
I'm completely against war. War is the worst thing for the people, more. Why should it be this way? I just want to live my life. After 70 years of living and 45 years of marriage?
Nobody would be happy to see war between two countries or two individuals. It was a terrible experience. We were in a very bad situation. The war was imposed on our country. But the situation improved as the war continued.
In Israel, the relief is palpable but bittersweet. Families, many displaced from their homes, are tentatively returning to scenes of devastation. The lingering smell of smoke and the deep emotional scars of relentless bombardment are a stark reminder of the conflict's brutal toll.
To go back to life just in one overnight switch is very, very, just a weird feeling. And then to all of a sudden see people, yes, in the streets, cars, yes, beeping at each other. It is a very weird feeling. It's a good feeling, but it's a weird feeling nonetheless. This week was hard, just being on the edge of your seat, not knowing where it's going to be, when it's going to catch you. Is it going to be in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, in the morning, how many times in the night?
The ceasefire holds for now. Both sides claim victory. But both Israel and Iran know the costs. The war has changed the calculus in the region forever. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Madam Lean O'Donnell is a journalist and author. She's now joining us live from London. Ms. O'Donnell, welcome to the program. 3 countries claim victory in the 12-day war. But in your honest and thorough assessment, who is the real victor here and why?
No, thanks for having me on. Nobody wins in war. Everybody's going to claim victory. We are deep in the era of misinformation and disinformation and mistrust, and everybody is going to say that they're the winner because that's how they save face and that's how they go on. But nobody wins in war. Perhaps Donald Trump has come out on top. He has portrayed himself as a man of peace who is willing to use force to back up that principle, but he's also shown himself to be easily swayed. I think it's fair to say that he was really an agent of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's long-held desire to negate Iran's nuclear program. So in my honest assessment, no winners.
Ms. O'Donnell, let's just recap what the President said during the NATO summit at The Hague. He says that Iran has a huge advantage. They have huge oil reserves. We want to see Iran get back in shape. China can buy oil from us. They can buy elsewhere. Trump also said not giving up on pressure campaign against Iran. What do you make of these statements?
I think Donald Trump is backing up his statements over the past couple of weeks, months, even years. He has long said Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb. This is a position that he will hold to. What remains to be seen is whether or not the ceasefire holds. As your report said, this has been existential, but there is no equivalence in the existential threat that this war represents for both sides. For the Iranian side, it's existential for the regime, which is brutal, extremist, and very unpopular. You've got to remember that the Iranian regime kills its own people regularly inside and outside the country. For Israel, it's not about the survival of the government overall. It's about the survival of the state. The Iranian regime is committed to the destruction and annihilation of Israel as a state. So I don't think that there's an equivalence there. And I think that what Donald Trump is doing is backing the existence long-term, the viability of Israel as a state against a regime that is theocratic and autocratic and extremely unpopular at home and extremely vulnerable, as the Israeli operations of recent weeks have revealed.
Ms. O'Donnell, very quickly as we wrap this up, the war has changed the calculus of this region. What happens next?
Well, we have to wait and see, I think. This is a tenuous ceasefire. We don't even really know the extent of damage that has been done to Iran's nuclear facilities. There was plenty of time, plenty of warning before the Americans sent in the bunker busting bombs that did the greatest damage for the Iranians to move uranium. There is talk that 400 kilograms of uranium has been moved. Nobody knows where that is. The International Atomic Energy Agency has been asking the Iranians for access to assess the damage. And I think that reports that Iran's capabilities for enriching uranium to weapons grade has been set back by years or months. We don't even know. So I think we have to wait and see while the dust settles.
Ms. Lean O'Donnell, good to see you. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you.